Sorry for those looking for the wine and cheese tour. Didn't happen. So this is where you grew up?
Oh, yes, sir. Our nice little humble abode. Migrant Hotel is actually right up over here.
So that's how you know?
That's how you know.
Every room's full, or you have availabilities?
No, it's all full.
Get out!
$60,000 a month just on rental.
Hey, how's it going? Could I get a room if you don't mind?
That's some sketchy driving. That's some masshole stuff.
I know, I know.
Jeez. What percentage is it migrants versus U.S. homeless?
Massachusetts is first richest state in New England.
Oh, this place is beautiful.
The way they're coming over and then we're paying for it, they have nicer cars than we do.
I think that's where the issue is when there's no transparency. Let's explain to the public what's going on exactly.
There's usually always something going on.
I've seen it.
So this is all central Mass down here.
Yup, you can see Boston in some points. You can see the skyscrapers out in the city.
Okay, so Gerald, today we're getting out there, right? We spoke on the phone and you told me central Massachusetts is a super interesting place. I don't think most of us think of that from the outside. They might think of Boston, for example, but I've never thought of, for example, central Mass.
Oh, yeah, most people don't. It's pretty crazy how the towns differ from one town to another. I mean, you drive over town lines and some towns are kind of run down. They need love put back into them, but then a lot of the towns are coming back now, which is good.
You're an old soul, Gerald.
Oh, thank you, Peter,
I can
yeah.
tell. 25 years old, right?
Yes, sir, 25.
And you have the true accent, is that fair to say here?
Maybe considered central Massachusetts accent, Bostonian. My family's from Canada, so it might kind of, they spoke French when I
You
was
have some
growing
A's
up,
in there? You
so it
dropped
might
some
have
A?
rubbed A, Canada A. It's pretty crazy how diverse Massachusetts is with all its different cultures, and everybody seems to get along pretty well, but in the past couple of years with all the conflict in the media and political conflict, everybody's kind of at each other's necks, which is kind of sad to see. There's families that haven't talked in years because one believes in one thing, one believes in something totally different.
Oh, geez.
Massachusetts was the second richest state in New England. Now it's considered the first in New England. For a while it was Connecticut at number one. I think it was a lot of like old money back in the day. There was a lot of farms around here. And
All right, so even though we're pretty close to Boston, fair to say?
we're like an hour away, I think.
Hour
Peter.
away,
Hour
but it's farm country out here, huh?
Yeah, we're kind of in the mix of a couple big cities. So we are kind of like right in a pocket of rural area. And obviously everybody's not rolling in money. There are some people who have a lot of money out here and are doing well for themselves, but there's a lot of regular people who are just struggling, working 2 or 3 jobs, trying to pay rent and trying to cover groceries.
Are they living in two different worlds, like don't interact with one another, those two groups?
They get along pretty well. There's not a lot of disagreement between a higher class and lower class, but there's definitely some stigmatization towards people being lower income. I mean, if you tell somebody you're from Fitchburg, Massachusetts, people will get a weird look in their eyes because they probably heard of how it is kind of a rougher area.
We're going there today, right?
Yep. My parents are middle class. Both of them are blue-collar workers. I mean, being out here, there are a lot of blue-collar workers, but in the past 20 years, a lot of white-collar and business-type people have moved out here, which did cause an influx of housing prices.
Okay, how much for one of these houses now?
$450,000. The average house in Massachusetts is around $500,000. I mean, this house is for sale right now, and I think it's listed at $450,000, which is a lot of money for a single-story or ranch in general.
One garage, not that big.
Yeah.
What about a guy like you, 25 years old? Where's your mind with this stuff?
Honestly, kind of worried. Not even from my generation. A lot of the younger generation is getting born into a world that doesn't exist anymore, if that makes sense. It's almost impossible for someone working one job to buy a house or cover rent. I mean, my uncle, a town over from here, it's kind of a dumpy little town, but he pays $1,800 for a one-room apartment every month, and it's pretty crazy to...
Wow.
Oh, this is my dad, by the way.
This is your dad. Nice. How you doing?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. I'm blessed to be with your son today.
Taking you for the tour?
Yeah, what a character. Peter.
Peter, how you doing?
Nice
Michael.
to meet you, Michael. Why aren't you doing the yard
I
work? Gerald?
usually mow the lawn. I do help out a lot. We have a wood stove, so we got to stack the wood up every year. We usually get 5 cords of wood. That's how we heat our house. So there's always something to do around here, whether it's mowing the grass, having my garden. My tomato plants are kind of decrepit over there, but some of them are growing. Hey, Dad, I'm just grabbing something. We'll be back, okay?
Cool.
Nice meeting you.
Love you, Dad. I'll see ya.
Your dad's how old?
60.
Wow, he's in great shape.
Yeah, pretty
He's
good
ripped.
shape, yeah.
So this is where you grew up?
Oh, yes, sir. I was born here. This is the only house I've ever lived in, which is pretty crazy.
Oh, what a zone. And you got the old 300D turbo diesel.
I paid $500 for it. It was sitting in some guy's backyard for 20 years. It was his grandfather's. And I kept on asking him, like, will you sell it one day? Will you sell it? He's like, I might keep it and work on it. And then finally last year, he's like, would you give me $500 for it? I'm like, of course. I thought you were going to ask $2,500. Got lucky on it. I would have took that today, but it doesn't have a sticker. The last sticker's from 2008 on it, so that's just looking for trouble.
Can I keep rolling the
Of
camera
course,
or no?
Of course, Peter.
Tell me when you want me to shut it off.
I'll show you out back real quickly.
Okay,
I mean,
this is great.
Our nice little humble abode with we got some jalapeno peppers over here that are coming out pretty good. We got some chickens in the back. We have a tree house that was once in a tree, but a really bad windstorm came and it knocked it out of the tree. These are some of my friends over here.
Okay, so back in the day, if you don't mind me asking, what was the price of something like this in this region?
My parents, not to give an exact amount, but it was a lot cheaper. I mean, I'll just tell people it was $100,000 for this house, but it needed a lot of work. When my parents first moved in, every wall had a different type of paneling on it.
When did they move in?
1992, I think.
Okay, so 100,000 then was like 250 now, but now this would be $500,000.
$500,000 usually. This whole town is $500,000, which is crazy to think about. I mean, Western Mass, it gets kind of cheaper, but then you're kind of in the zone of being so far away from everything. There's really no job opportunities out there to pay for the house.
All right, well, let's get into it.
Sounds good.
Yeah, you sure you don't want to come?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
You're good?
I got a gig tonight. You like banjo picking music?
Oh, nice.
Clinton.
Nice.
They're in a few different
You play
bands.
banjo?
I'm the bass player.
Oh,
It's
nice.
a big upright bass. So.
What's the name of the band?
The Suck Knots.
You
The
changed
Suck
it.
Knots.
Yeah.
Okay, do you have an Instagram page, a website? Facebook.
Facebook, yeah.
So people should look up the Suck Knots.
And 8-Track Mind, he's in another one.
SUQ.
SUQNOT.
S. Because we don't want to offend anyone.
Love you, Dad. I'll see ya.
Yeah, guys.
You got a cool dad.
You know the band Heart, Peter? His band actually opened up for one of the sisters of Heart a few months ago. The people who play that song Barracuda, that was really well known for a while.
You
You ever go to that staircase out in Philadelphia, Peter, when you were out there?
Yeah, I have. It's pretty cool.
I was lucky enough to be able to born out here, and since I'm 25, I mean, even in the time I've been alive, I have seen a lot of the changes in the area, some good, some bad, and there's a lot of towns that are just stuck in the mud that need people to want to care about their town and community again. I mean, some of the towns we'll drive through have trash everywhere and trash on the sidewalks.
So not far from here, you have towns with trash everywhere that are beat up.
Definitely, yeah.
And this is a great existence.
Yeah, this is a rural community. It's nice. There's definitely a lot of stuff for people to do, like gardening clubs and clubs for the kids. And a lot of people, when you say you're from Massachusetts, they think it's Boston, kind of like when someone says they're from New York. New York is such a big state, and there's rural areas, there's farmland.
New York is huge.
Some guy just cut us off, and that's what gives Massachusetts a bad reputation and why everybody calls us massholes. I mean, it's not 100% across the board, but if you go to other states in New England and ask them what their least favorite state is or their least favorite community in New England, a lot of people will say Massachusetts or massholes. I mean...
Okay, so growing up in Vermont, my first 18 years were there. I totally looked down on anything outside of Vermont, to be honest, but definitely on Massachusetts, and so I'm familiar with masshole. But these days, I was in southern Vermont, and I just went to Charlemont. That part of Massachusetts, Western Mass, was freaking awesome.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful up there.
I had no clue.
Up in the
Like,
mountains.
that is freaking awesome down there. So back to all my content, you can't necessarily label a state easily.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a region of the state, there's a county, even in that county, there might be totally different areas in it.
For anyone watching, if you want good outdoor activities, check out Western Mass. It's very overlooked and not a lot of people
Totally.
talk about it, but there's mountain biking, there's whitewater rafting, there's
I back
hiking,
that.
beautiful out there.
I totally back that.
This is the town of Fort Devens or Devens. It was once a military base for a very long time. It actually got shut down mid-90s, and there still is a portion of the town that is military occupied, but there's a lot of residential and commercial out here now. When my dad was growing up, his best friend was a Green Beret, and they used to come out here and you used to have to get signed in and have clearance to pull through the gates. Now there's a lot of pharmaceutical companies up that way. There's a nuclear power plant coming up, and I actually went to school over here after high school and got into the union through them. I was in the Carpenters Union for 4 or 5 years. That's a state-funded program to get people jobs, or people from the inner city jobs, or line people up with a career path that they otherwise wouldn't be able to get without that assistance.
Okay, so super helpful for you?
I consider it helpful, but when I was going on, there was a lot of trouble in the school also. Like, it all depends what group you align to. There was a lot of people who were from gangs or were from rough backgrounds, so you just had to stay with the right headspace and be with the right people, if that made sense. Don't get mixed up with the wrong crowd. When I was growing up, I got sent to a couple of different schools. I got in some trouble, so they sent me to a charter school that was in Worcester in a really rough part of the city, and I learned a lot from them. Like, I think getting in trouble at one point made me learn later on that there's a lot more in life than getting in trouble, and if I hang out with the right people, it'll get you a lot farther in life instead of hanging out with a bad crowd and taking a wrong turn in life. I mean, there's a lot of trouble out here, whether it's you're getting hooked on drugs and gang violence, and there's definitely stuff to do for the younger generation, but there's a lot less to do now than when my parents were growing up. There was a golf course and driving range that got shut down. There was basketball courts that got shut down, batting cages. I mean, there's still stuff to do, but it's like a different type of stuff, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay, this town has a different feel to it.
Yeah, the Migrant Hotel is actually right up over here.
Migrant Hotel?
I think this town got approved to send some migrant families over here, and there was an open hotel. So I think the state considered it was a viable option to ship the families over here. And Massachusetts is a asylum state, so a lot of families, they get shipped up over here from Texas, New Mexico, any of the border lines. And some of the towns we're going to definitely need new people coming over and need a sense of community coming back, whether you're out of the country or were born here. I mean, some towns are slowly dying, even though it's in Massachusetts and how densely populated Massachusetts is. Some towns do need some love and care thrown back into them. And we'll go around the back side. You'll see all the bikes on the balconies, all the bikes. And some of them do have licenses, which is good.
Okay, so do you know any of the deeper details, what's going on here?
Definitely, I actually wrote down a very good stat that I have to tell you, like what percentage of the people are eligible to work. So there's 770 families that did come over here, even though the number's probably up and down a little bit. But out of those 7,700 families, 850 had the proper permits and were eligible to work. And then another 2,000 or 3,000 of the families were kind of stuck waiting in the dust because they had no paperwork, nothing figured out yet.
Oh, okay.
But some of them were eligible to work, and then some of them were in the process of waiting for their work visa or whatever the right paperwork it is to start your life up in America. These are the amount of families that were located to each town in the state, and there's probably a couple more outliers and everything like that. And the town we're in right now is Ayer, Massachusetts, and they got 45 families total. And from what I read online, they got like 150 people total. And then you got Worcester, which got 333 families, which is a very big sum. And
Yeah. Who am I?
Yeah.
I'm a human being.
Okay, so what are you doing?
Oh, we're doing a video all about Massachusetts.
Okay.
Yeah. What's Making Opportunity? What are you?
It's MOC. It's an organization.
Okay.
Non-profit. There's the WIG programs, housing.
Okay. For who?
What do you mean for who?
Who are the people you're housing?
Anybody who needs help.
So any homeless person or
Yeah.
anyone can come here. Okay. Where are the people from, like the majority of people from?
There's different places.
Okay. Do they need to have papers for this, as in asylum documents, or it doesn't matter?
I don't think you can share that information.
What's that?
I don't think you can share that information with you.
You can't share. Why not?
My job, sorry.
They won't let you?
Yeah.
Who funds you guys? Is it the state? Is it the state of Massachusetts?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are all the doors full, or can someone go there now if they're homeless?
It has to go through the process of an application.
Okay, but currently, is it all the doors full, every room's full, or you have availabilities?
No, it's awful.
It's all full. Okay. Do you know if these asylum claims that the government's giving them work papers so they can actually work if they want to?
What do you mean?
Oh, a lot of the asylum claims seekers, they have legal documents, they have the legal right to be here. but the government's not giving them work papers. So do you notice a lot of that? A lot of people just wanting to work and they can't work?
Yeah, some of them. That's why they have the caseworkers that try to help them with that.
Okay.
Hey, how's it going today?
Good.
We're just making a video on central Massachusetts and some of the regions out here. We were just at Wachusett Mountain and we figured we'd drive through this town just to get a glimpse of how this town's a little bit different, how the area's changed, and we figured we'd stop
you
here.
shouldn't be on this property.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we need to ask you to.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay.
That's usually how it is, Peter. All these nonprofits and government-funded groups, they don't give you any insight what's going on,
Right.
which is causing what's
I
a lot of
would-
the fear for the...
I was just in Kensington, and there was a group there that's doing a lot of work, and there's just a lot of closed doors and tight lips, and I think that's where the issue is when there's no transparency. Let's explain to the public what's going on exactly. This isn't an anti-immigrant, migrant stance.
Yeah.
It's, hey guys, we're in a big country here. We've had an influx of over, who knows the number, let's just say Customs Border Protection website, I'm gonna get the numbers wrong, but let's just say in the last 3.5 years, 4 years, we're looking at like 10 to 12 million that we know of, and then a ton that we don't know of. And so when we have communities in the country with higher rent prices, more of a strain on the resources, everyone's life has become a little bit harder with inflation. Things have,
Gone up in
I don't
price,
think
yeah.
everyone's life is going better, especially the middle class right now. And so they want to know where their tax money is going, especially in a state like Massachusetts where you're taxed a lot. And I don't think it should be a question at all to ask the questions.
A lot of people, they just cling to one side of the media, whatever side you're on, so there really is no discoveries being made. It's just the same old arguments over and over again, and the migrant situation's a big one.
Let's go to a business
Yeah.
near here.
Maybe this guy would want to talk. I got a thing.
Yeah, right here. Okay, what's going on over there?
So after they all bought cars, hold on, you want me to do this out so that you don't hear the dog barking?
Yeah.
So have you been down the Fall River, the ones they burnt down and all that?
What?
They burnt down 3 motels.
Oh yeah, 3 got burnt down a little bit ago.
Yeah, like two of them were like a month apart.
An accident or they?
No, they didn't. They didn't do it on purpose, but stupidity. I think one was a grill, like up against the building. This is the only one that I know of that doesn't have the National Guard as security.
Other ones have National Guards.
Yes.
Okay, how many of these are there? Do you know?
I don't know. You can't go on a website and figure it out, but you'll know the signs will be covered up or turned backwards.
Okay, so that's how you know.
That's how you know. So you'll go by a Motel 6. The only sign that will be on will probably still be on the building, but the regular one, they'll probably be covered up, and you'll know a motel that's where they're staying. I think that's the meals.
The meal truck over there.
I wish you guys could walk in there and get a video of it. It's sad because a lot of the food goes to waste because they don't take it. Say they bring 100 meals in, they stack them up. You'll see them when they bring the lunch in, take out, they only use like 20 meals because they're getting a card. They go over to, they rather eat a Shop and Save than just, mac and cheese or whatever they're getting.
They get stipends to go shop at Shop and Save?
Yes, they have little beach wagons. Now you just came at the wrong time, man. There's usually always something going on.
I've seen it.
Really?
Yeah,
Is it
yeah.
because it's Saturday maybe they're all
Maybe, yeah. They'll go down, they do their laundry, but they'll take their beach carts over to Shop and Save or Family Dollar. They're always at Family Dollar. First off, they kicked out people that were actually living there, which was wrong.
born in the US people?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yes. Probably say 6 or 7 of them walked down the road with their suitcases. And those were people that lived in this town that, worked at local places. They had a vet over there with only he was amputated on from his knee down, and he got booted out.
Oh, wow.
So, I get you come over the right way. That's okay, but the way they're coming over and then we're paying for it. There's a bunch of bazillions in this town that have been here forever that don't get any of this.
Right. Yep.
And I don't understand that.
The people that did it the right way legally, which is very hard,
Yes.
are really pissed right now.
Yeah.
The people that have been here for a while that aren't getting that are pissed.
Yeah.
The locals, if they know what's going on, are like, we need to immigrate.
Yeah, we're
But
all
this-
immigrants.
you run a business, you know how hard it is
Yes.
to find
Oh, yeah.
people?
Yes, yeah.
Like, you want good workers,
Yeah.
and if that person comes from Guatemala or Honduras or wherever, awesome. But in a legal way, in an orderly way
Yes.
and not on our dime.
Absolutely.
I think that's what it comes down
Yes,
to.
absolutely. They have nicer cars than we do, which is just crazy. That guy bought that motel for like 1.2 million or 1.5 million 6 months before he got all the migrants came in. And he's literally put a new roof on it, painting it, gardened it, put new asphalt in. He's going to have I think he takes in like $60,000 a month just on rental. So you figure he's going to be paid off pretty soon.
But
He's
so-
driving a Corvette now.
Okay.
So it's not there right now, but a red Corvette.
red one.
Yes,
So-
yep. That's
So
his new car.
Indirectly, you two are helping to pay for that Corvette.
Yes.
Because you live in Massachusetts.
Yes. What's crazy is if my daughter sets up a lemonade stand, the town will shut us down. They'll go and sell groceries. I'm not joking.
Okay. So your daughter does like the
We had a
most-
lemonade stand, and the second day, the town gave us a hard time.
So
and-
the most quintessential American thing to do is have your kids set up in a
lemonade stand, yeah,
stand,
yeah,
right?
still in the
So I
backyard.
grew up doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. She doesn't learn the basic lessons of dealing with people
Yeah.
and making something
Yes,
and taking
yes,
in money
yes, yeah.
on her own.
Yeah, on her own, yeah.
Right. Instead, across the street,
Yes.
everyone here is supposed to do the work and pay for people's
Yeah.
journey into
Yeah.
this country. And so where it gets complicated and all the media doesn't really fully unpack it is some are legitimate asylum claims.
Yes, yes.
Some are,
Yep,
like
yep.
they should be here.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
asylum
absolutely.
by
Yes.
the law.
Yeah.
The majority are economic migrants.
Yes.
Pay $20,000 from India, fly into Mexico City,
Yep.
fly up to Mexicali, cartel picks you up,
Yep.
gets you to the gap in the wall, go over, call 911. Our Customs Border Protection gets on them. Quarter mile down the border, the cartels runs the fentanyl, the sex trafficking, all the really expensive stuff.
Yep.
They're making billions,
Yeah, absolutely.
and we're facilitating
Yes.
it.
So a lot of the ones that originally came in here were actually from the ones staying at Logan Airport that we had no idea was even on the news.
Wait, the migrants were staying at Logan
Airport, yes.
So as people were flying in and out, like where were they staying? In a
I
back
think they
room?
had in a hallway like where you get on the flights. I think they just took a corner and
Okay.
yes, and I was told from over there.
Okay, so how are people in the community feeling about this? Is it split or is there a lot of tension brewing? Like,
There's no, because you can't really go online and like on the air community side, if you go on and bash something, it's you're racist. So there's not really been any backlash other than the protesting that got shut down. There's been other YouTube people that have come out and
okay.
yeah, and the cops have made them leave.
does the media ever show up?
No, never.
Local
not,
media?
No,
They
nope,
don't touch it?
No, not
Not with a
once, not
10-foot
once,
pole.
No,
Why do
no.
you think that is?
Because we're in a Democrat state.
Okay, so if it looks bad for one party, they're not going
Yes,
to touch
yeah,
it.
absolutely,
And
yes.
vice versa.
Yeah,
If it looks
yeah.
bad for the other party,
Yeah.
that network's not going to touch
I
it.
have to find out on like YouTube or Twitter about crimes they commit down in like Fall River, other hotels because you don't even see it on the news. I literally find out the news from Twitter and YouTube. So that's my news, man.
All right, guys, it's deep. There's a lot to it. There are a lot of moving parts. I haven't found a media outlet who unpacks it in its entirety, because who doesn't have compassion for someone wanting a better life, or these kids that are on their bikes and, had no choice in anything. My beef with all of this is just how it's managed, the secrecy, where the money is going, and also the chaos at the border, which communities are really struggling with. And the only reason I know this is because I've done many videos on the topic. Texas, Arizona. I'll leave those down in the link below so you can sort of see the other side of this thing. It's just very messy, and it doesn't make sense to operate a border like this or a country like this. Nobody else really does it, a few Western countries, but for the most part, places like Ukraine, where my wife is from, despite the chaos there, would never allow people just to come over its border and live there. And I'm talking migrants, not obviously an invading army. But my point is, it doesn't really work anywhere. I can't go to Mexico and do this. I can't go to Chile and do this. I can't go to Ukraine and do this. So it's a somewhat uniquely American thing these days, where we're all paying for this. And Gerald wanted to show this part of the story today. It's all kept in the dark and nobody really knows what's going on. You wouldn't really know unless you knew this was happening. And wouldn't you like to know what this is and why does our media not touch it? These are all simple questions. The fact that me as the YouTuber has to be the one doing this work is a bit crazy and a bit telling of the media landscape we currently live in. But thank God we have these platforms so we can actually do this. Ask questions, dig deeper, be respectful, and don't be afraid to speak up. So from first impressions, Fitchburg isn't really thriving, fair to say?
It's slowly coming back, but I mean, just driving over the town lines, you can hear how my car is rattling, and this is why I need new shocks every 20,000 miles. There's not a lot of work put into this city. There's a lot more decay than I say coming back. Over there, that bridge was really well known when it first came out, and my dad said when he grew up in the area and I was born, people were talking about how that bridge was going to be like a major icon to the city and it's going to be part of the Fitchburg's resurgence. And obviously Fitchburg's kind of in a standstill.
Yeah, and just to let all you guys know out there watching, we're going to go to some really nice neighborhoods too, just to show the contrast, right? On YouTube, we could just show like the worst things all day long and then people will walk away thinking, oh, central Massachusetts looks terrible, right? Oh, America's falling apart, it's all over. Or I could show the nicest places all day and then be like, that's the nicest place ever.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's really hard, you know, we're gonna try to balance it. And this is not putting Fitchburg under the bus. I'm sure there's awesome stuff here.
I mean, check out that steeple over there. That's a crazy looking church.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I mean, there are stores on Main Street, but it is a lot more empty than neighboring towns, and you don't really see as many people walking as you used to. There's broken glass in that storefront. There's vacant buildings.
A lot of vacancies, wow.
There's also stuff coming
There's
back,
some
though.
life.
There's
Okay.
good restaurants. There's decent stuff. Back in the 80s and 70s, it was really happening, and there was a lot going on, but there was a lot of changes in Massachusetts, and come around the 90s, a lot of stuff was broken down.
Do you know what the industry here was?
The major industry was paper production and book manufacturing and a lot of that stuff. A lot of the local rivers actually got polluted from them dumping the dyes directly into the river years ago.
So this looks really nice around here.
It is pretty nice, but you can kind of see on Main Street, and if you talk to a couple of business owners, how it's never will be like it once was. Like how when they were growing up, like there was a lot going on and
Well, the things are still there to do. It's just the culture's...
changed, yeah. This area is a lot more built up. It's a lot more commercial, a lot more corporate places. And this is another migrant hotel that was filled to the brim for a while. Maybe we can ask this guy a couple of questions. I don't know. Excuse me, sir. Are you guys open right now? Are there any rooms available? Oh, no rooms available, right? How come?
The shelter.
Oh, okay.
What's that?
The shelter for the homeless people.
Where are the homeless from?
Street, homeless. Oh,
All over.
yeah.
Oh, here's the number right here.
Yeah, you can call that number.
If you're looking for accommodations at a hotel, this building is no longer one, as adult shelter only. We don't know who's staying here though, right?
The guy over there in Air said it was migrants. A lot of them are mixed with homeless now. Like the guy was saying, it was originally homeless in the
Oh, it's
other one we
open.
went to.
Okay, I would really like to know who's staying here. It could be just homeless people, but he was saying it was migrants.
Yeah.
Sir, why are you wearing the mask?
Because COVID.
COVID?
You guys bringing COVID here.
I'm bringing COVID in here.
Yeah.
2024.
Yeah. Read the COVID number.
You got Mpox. You got Mpox in here.
Look at it. Look at it.
Mpox too.
Get out of here.
Sounded like my Uncle Donnie. Get out of here. Get lost.
Well, they had monkeypox vaccines at all the pharmacies near here for a while. You drive by, it said monkeypox vaccine,
So he put on the N95
and stood behind a door.
and stood behind a door. Wow. Guys, it's really hard to get you the deep information on this one. Getting access or people to speak is pretty much impossible. And Well, I'm guessing the federal government's going to pay per migrant head or something.
Per room, per family, and they get accommodations based off that.
And the average homeless person isn't, the federal government's not stepping in this circumstance. That's what I'm guessing. Total guess and speculation. It's a very deep dive issue because when we have rents that have gone up so much, right? Like we have a lot more homelessness in the country and people are struggling, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And so there's all sorts of homeless, a lot on drugs,
mental illness,
and some not, right? But it's just like rent has gotten so high, the pressure has really been applied, and so we have more people down and out. Imagine you come into a new country, you walk over the border illegally in a non-port of entry, they process you, give you a free bus ticket or a plane ticket, documents that say you're legit, free housing, food, healthcare, and then maybe you can go work. Okay, that's sticky. Some can, some can't. Some are going to do illegal things, right? A lot of DoorDash stuff, a lot of delivery stuff.
the loopholes you can get.
And so those are your first impressions of this new country. And then you're around beautiful roads, beautiful landscapes and nature, and you're probably thinking, wow, everyone is loaded.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, look at this. They just paid for all my stuff. Everyone's just crushing it here. Not understanding what you're saying about people getting pressured right now.
And then there's a lot of people on the other side of the system that aren't working, collecting government checks, not migrants anyways, just people who've been living off the system for 50, 60 years, so now they're accustomed to that and really can't break out of the cycle of...
I had a cousin like that. He claimed disability for, I don't know, he stubbed his toe back in 1972, right? And that's not, okay, to be fair, like, some people do need it legitimately, right? But cousin Donnie, like, stubbed his toe and claimed disability and then sold used cars. The reality of all of this is, if you're lazy in India or Ukraine, you die. But you can be here. We're growing a population that's becoming dependent. And we should be, I feel, as a nation, recognizing that, giving the mental health treatment that's needed, the job training that's needed, the medical education, nutritional education that's needed, right? And build people up so they can build their life and live a better life and raise a better family. Right? None of this is easy, but that's my logical solution. Where it seems like we're doing the opposite. Right now.
100%, yeah. My mom grew up really poor. She grew up with a single mother, and there's a whole story itself in that. And she grew up eating Cheerios and Fruit Loops and everything because it was the cheapest option at the time. She really didn't know what a healthy meal was until she got older on in life, because she was kind of stuck in that box of not getting the appropriate accommodations or learning about nutrition or learning about stuff that really matters. And I mean, I think the public school system right now is kind of in that same situation. They really don't teach a lot of kids what they need to know and what should be learned, like how to run a business.
Critical thinking skills. That should be number one right now, right? Because the internet is a thing, right? And the information's going to come at you all day long. It's endless. Most of it's garbage and BS, right?
100%.
So developing critical thinking skills should be the number one. And we're in a time where we're just floating in information. Everything's politicized. I don't know one media organization that its aim is truth, right? Like, truth is very hard to find with topics like this. But like, there's no political dog in the fight. There's no blue-red stuff. It's like, let's get to the bottom of this. I don't think that exists anymore. So this actually turned into a much heavier video than I expected. And that's fine. I go where the story goes
100%.
and what it leads into.
The average house in the town we're going to, it's $1.5 million.
Oh, wow.
And Henry David Thoreau wrote his book, Walden Pond, in this town. Or
No way.
Right nearby it. Walden Pond's pretty close to here, and that's a pretty nice little area. A lot of expensive restaurants out this way, too.
Concord Bookshop. Yeah, it looks very nice. So this is how far from Fitchburg?
Like 25 minutes.
We didn't even go to the real bad part of Fitchburg, did we?
No, not really, no.
Okay, so if you're living in the bad part of Fitchburg, or if you're living here, you're living in two different universes. Colonial Inn, 1716. Look at that. Wow.
We're right nearby the oldest inn in the country, Henry Longfellow Inn, the one that Henry Ford owned out in Sudbury. Henry Ford also made his own village in the middle of the woods in Sudbury, Massachusetts. He planned on having a self-sufficient community full of like-minded individuals, and they all had their own set jobs, and they all did this and that.
He had his own utopia out there.
Own utopia. He built the dam, and it's called Ford's Folly, but the dam never held because the dam wasn't set right on the groundwalk, and the groundwalk wasn't hard enough to support the dam. If you literally walk in the woods, it's in the middle of nowhere. There's like a 2,000-foot long dam, and the whole dam was built by ox and man. He didn't want to use any machines. He didn't want to use anything like that, and the whole village ended up flopping.
Oh, this place is beautiful. Okay, so no migrant hotel here.
There actually is one, and it has 89 families, so I don't know exactly how many people that is. We can hit it in a few minutes if you want to, Peter. It's right nearby where we are anyways.
Okay. So that is surprising that there's a migrant shelter here.
Mm-hmm.
And you just pulled up the wickedlocal.com. Former Concord Hotel has been converted to shelter, quietly welcomes migrant families. Simon Cataldo said the town has been overwhelmingly supportive of family shelters. Last year, the Best Western in Concord was converted into a family shelter. It was the first of its kind in town, which has a median home price last year of nearly $1.45 million. Okay, that's what you said, right? And the new shelter on Elm Street, just off Route 2, accommodates families from Concord and surrounding areas as an overflow from emergency shelter in nearby Devens. It's just interesting that we're in central Massachusetts, one small region, and we're coming across place after place after place, and that's what this video turned into. Sorry for those looking for the wine and cheese tour. Didn't happen. Another video maybe, but that's where the story is right here, right now. That's the most interesting story I can see. Now, to be fair, the border has quieted down the last month and a half for a couple reasons. One, middle of summer, 110 degrees in Arizona is pretty tough. And two, this administration has put pressure on Mexico to slow it down. We're coming up on elections. It's not a good look to have a huge flow coming over the border. Is it here?
That might be it.
Because they're not going to label it. Give this one a try.
Yep.
Yes, they have the signs covered up. Okay, let's try to check in as guests. Okay, this has to be a hotel because look at all these cars. Just drive to the back, actually. Here we go. Okay, we have some nice cars in here. All right, yeah, people are living here. This is not a hotel right now. A lot of storage here. Storage containers brought in. Interesting. But with the cars we drove by, sorry to say, Gerald, nicer than your car.
No, it definitely is. It has 210,000 miles almost.
And no outside donations. It was the inn at historic Concord.
It was a Best Western for a while.
Okay, they see the camera. They're not happy. Go ahead.
I'm sorry about that.
No, porque ya me están esperando.
Hey, how's it going? Could I get a room if you don't mind?
Yeah, actually, it's no longer a hotel anymore.
Okay, what is it if you don't mind me asking?
It's a private community, like a shelter.
Mm-hmm.
Is it for homeless people in the area?
Yes.
It's a hybrid of homeless and then migrants, right?
Yes, refugees in general.
Refugee, asylum claims.
Yes, exactly. No, it's like a shelter. It's for everywhere. There's American people here too.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, how you doing?
Going? Doing
Good.
all right,
We're trying to
thank you.
understand. So we know some homeless people that want to go to a shelter. How do they do that?
Are they families or individuals?
Individuals.
Individuals, that's a whole different process, and it depends where the area
Okay.
area they're from.
Okay.
So, like for example, I work in the Leominster-Fitchburg area.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, like usually around that catchment area, like they could go up to like Harbor maybe.
Okay.
So it'll be like from Gardner, Winchendon.
Yep.
Halfway down here. And we refer them to SMOC. SMOC are mainly for individuals.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
But I don't know. I mean, there's other places. I guess it depends on the area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But you're just seeing a huge uptick, right?
Oh yeah.
can get your COVID booster.
Oh yeah, all 15 of them.
USCIS, okay, there's the immigration services. That's interesting.
Okay, listo, gracias.
Sí, de nada.
You guys have health care here?
Mass Health.
Oh, that's good, I heard.
I don't really work at this shelter like that. So
Oh, okay.
Every shelter works differently. So I know that they're supposed to have staff that can,
Talk to us.
yeah.
Okay. What percentage is it migrants versus U.S. homeless, would you say?
I mean, right now, this whole entire year, we've been assisting a lot more migrant families.
Migrant families, yeah.
But for individual people, it works differently, and that's if they can get in. Because right now they're changing all the regulations and stuff. So.
How so?
Before I could,
She's got roses. Look at that.
It's a
Romantic.
whole dozen.
Okay, before what? I'm sorry?
I could make referrals to the
Okay, okay.
But now they have to call the main number. And the process goes like, if you do qualify, it takes 3 days. If they can find a shelter for that family in 3 days, they go to that overflow shelter and then
Okay.
go to that shelter. But if they can't, they
Doesn't-
kick them out.
Not
They
to
kick,
interrupt-
they kick them out.
Yeah. I don't know where they go, but that's how it's been going.
Not to interrupt, doesn't the state hook them up with a cell phone and everything like that, or some situations? Okay.
No, the feds do.
Yeah.
But that's terrible. They're kicking people out.
Yeah. From overflow shelters and so I don't know. I mean, I've seen.
But big increase overall last couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate your help. Have a great day.
We're all around the region, and it's everywhere right now.
Yeah.
Those are the people that we need, people that want to speak on it.
Yeah, it's so hard to get people to speak. So what is that? What is that language? Swahili or something? That's interesting. Yeah, so look at Find a Doctor, Citizenship Resource Center, Naturalization Eligibility Tool, Get Legal Help. So, as she says, it's majority migrants, and then a lot of people are gonna get bumped from the shelters because there's no room. Wow. And then we should get going.
Yep.
And then the owner of this place is bankrolling, guaranteed. All right, guys, quite an interesting day, and we all have to thank Gerald for showing us those places. No way I would have found those on my own. And I think the big question after today, we all want answers. We all want transparency. And when you have something done so secretively, it makes people wonder what's going on. So I think that would quell a lot of the anxiety or the questions if we just had a transparent authority say, here's what we're doing. This hotel is for migrants. They are allowed to work. They get no free meals, no health care, or this hotel is for migrants. They're not allowed to work. They get food, health care, school. Nobody knows. We're all sort of left in the dark right now, which is very unfortunate and very dishonest. Most Americans are great people. We're getting pitted against one another with this issue because nobody really knows what's going on. I've been trying my best, been to the southern border, been to the northern border, really put a lot of time in on this topic, and I still don't have all the answers. So watch my content, watch my other border videos, watch other people's content. Understand this has become very politicized, and hopefully in years to come, we'll have better transparency and understanding about what's going on here. All right, guys, thanks for coming along on that journey. Until the next one.